Hey guys, Liam here and welcome back to another episode of Pokémon WTF Moments, the series where I go through the Pokémon Anime and I review it in kind of a satirical style where I take tiny little insignificant trivial points and exaggerate them for comedic effect. And then someone gets mad in the comments and starts explaining to me why I'm wrong as if I actually care. But if you're a fan of WTF Moments and you're ready for more, make sure you hit that like button. Let's go for 1,002 likes on this video if we can. Hit subscribe if you're new. Thank you as always for 1.37 million subscribers. Honestly, that's the number. YouTube just forgot a zero. And of course, share this video with a friend if you've got one. But without further ado, let's have a look at the WTF moments for Pokemon Season 1, Episode 40, The Battling Eevee Brothers. The episode starts with Pikachu quickly running off with no explanation. Didn't he learn from the last episode that gives Ash all kinds of insecurities? You're gonna cause another montage, mate. They stumble across a seemingly abandoned Eevee. Now let's just get this out the way. Excuse the language, but if you ever abandon an animal, you're a cunt, and that's all you'll ever be. Shout out to my English and Australian viewers who don't actually have a problem with that word. However, kudos to the person that did abandon this Eevee because they've left it with a little bowl of water, which means it might have a chance of surviving long enough to be found by somebody else. However, leaving food there is a terrible idea. That's likely to attract another Pokemon, like a bigger Pokemon, or maybe a group of Pokemon that are gonna want to attack Eevee in order to take ownership of that food, and Eevee's not gonna stand a chance because it's tied to a rope and can't escape. I'm not gonna include Dexter saying that Eevee has the potential to evolve into one of 3 different Pokemon, even though there are 8 Eeveelutions in later generations, because that is just lower hanging fruit than your dad's ballsack. Don't believe me? Go and check him. Past his knees, mate. Abandoning an animal. Rule number 1, don't do it. Find it a suitable new home or leave it with a friend or family member who can look after that animal until you can find a new home for it. There is always a better option than abandonment. Rule number 2, if you are a big enough arsehole to abandon an animal, don't leave your address tag on it. Someone's bound to return it to you. Idiot. Just gonna casually skip over Dexter's pronunciation of Vaporeon. Vaporeon. They find the owner's house from the address on Eevee's tag and it's a huge mansion. A huge mansion with 0 security, mind you, since these guys literally crashed the owner's garden party and nobody bats an eyelid. Don't do it. Don't do it. My boy Poliwhirl is perfect the way he is. Oh, you did it. I mean, I like Poliwrath, but still. Stupid move. Also, this idiot turns around to the Poliwrath's owner and says, "Congratulations, Poliwhirl evolved into Poliwrath." Well, yeah, I think she knows, mate. I think that was the whole point of this situation. She doesn't need you mansplaining the evolution process, does she? So at this party, there's every Pokemon that can be fully evolved by Evolution Stone in Generation 1. There's Poliwrath, Cloyster, Starmie, Victreebel, Vileplume, Executor, Ninetales, and the Eeveelutions. Wait, why is there no Arcanine at this party? That's just unfair. Nobody tell Sophie, she'll go spare. Also, are we just pretending the Moonstone doesn't exist in this episode? I think we are. Team Rocket want to steal the evolution stones, but are more concerned about stealing all the food first. Sometimes Team Rocket are just too relatable, especially when it comes to their priorities.
All I ever think about is food.
Honestly. It's a curse. I want to make it abundantly clear that I absolutely despise this trio of twats. I get liking one Pokemon more than the others. Everyone has a favorite, and I understand that. That's okay. But styling your hair to match the Pokemon and wearing color corresponding tights to make sure everyone's aware of which of those Pokemon you like, it's just obsessive. Really obsessive. Wait a minute. Scrawny guys in tank tops displaying obsessive behavior? Pokemon Twitter community, is that you? All this money and they couldn't buy Mikey a decent haircut? No wonder he's got a face like a slapped arse all the time. For those of you not from the UK, I basically mean he's got a Mardy expression all the time. He always looks a little bit Mardy. I'm not helping, am I? Mikey's brothers reckon if he doesn't stop losing his Eevee, he's going to lose his trainer qualification. How does he even have a trainer qualification? He's younger than Ash. Must have paid for it, bloody rich kids. This brother says one day Mikey will be a Pokemon trainer. But I thought he already had a Pokemon qualification. Come on, lads, get your story straight. The brothers absolutely lose their minds when Mikey says he doesn't care about battles. Oh, Jesus, it's like talking to Smogon fans.
You like that Pokemon, but it's not even in OU.
Is OU a tier? I'm pretty sure I just don't care. The brothers want Mikey to pick an Eeveelution to evolve his Eevee into, whichever he thinks is the strongest, but the Flareon brother says,
"We want to know what you think of our Pokemon. Which Pokemon do you want Eevee to become?"
Well, those are 2 very different topics. Surely he can still tell you which of your 3 Pokemon he prefers without having to evolve his Eevee. Like, I'm pretty sure even though my favorite Pokemon is Poliwhirl, if someone says, "Hey, which of the Hoenn starters do you like the most?" I can't be like, "Oh, sorry, then none of them are Poliwhirl. I'll just be like, I like Mudkip. That's comment bait right there. Who's gonna take it? The Jolteon Brothers' selling point for Jolteon is that it can turn the hairs on its body into needles, which it fires at opponents. Yeah, but it's bug-type needles on a pure electric-type Pokemon. Don't get too excited, mate. It's not even stab. Surely if you're gonna sell Jolteon compared to the other Eeveelutions, you'd talk about its incredible speed and how it's one of the fastest Pokemon around. Surely. The Flareon brother reckons that Flareon's flame-based attacks make it the strongest evolutionary choice of all. I mean, not against rock types. Also, while these guys are arguing whether Jolteon or Flareon is the strongest, I'm going to argue that in this case, Vaporeon is the strongest of the three. It has the same special attack as Jolteon and therefore can hit as hard as Jolteon can, potentially. And it has a better combination of HP and special defense than Flareon, so technically it can take more hits than Flareon can. It's also a water type, and water types are just better in every single way. Oh, sorry, I know I gave you that little explanation there, but please don't mistake that for me actually caring which of these three Pokemon is better. Besides, Espeon's better than all three. The Vaporeon guy says Ash should know that you have to start training early if you want to become a Pokemon Master. But of course he doesn't know that. He's not a Master. Ergo, he has not learnt what it takes to become one. Otherwise, he'd be one by now. Ash and Brock get thrown a Thunderstone and Firestone respectively to use on Pikachu and Vulpix. And Brock says,
I can't just force Vulpix to evolve.
well, yeah, you can. They've given you the stone to do it with. Raise your hand if you forgot Misty caught Horsey 21 episodes ago. Mate, I'll be honest, I absolutely hate it when there's a buffet and someone brings you a plate of food from it without asking. Especially if they don't know you that well, so they don't know what you like and what you don't like. So then you end up with a plate of gross room temperature sandwiches that you didn't ask for, but you somehow have to be grateful for, even though you're already scanning the room for a place to dump them. Is that just a me thing? Misty really needs to stop abusing her Psyduck. It's not his fault he's slow. Like I keep saying, if she hates it so much, she should really just release it. It'd be the best thing for it. Mikey says he was trying to hide Eevee for just a day, so then nobody could force him to evolve it. But surely they could just hold the evolution party on a different day if they couldn't find Eevee, or just use the stones on a different day. This isn't like Cinderella, you know. The stones aren't going to magically vanish at the stroke of midnight. Misty admits to Mikey that if he hadn't claimed Eevee, she was going to claim it for herself and make it into a Vaporeon, and I think this honesty is her being a little bit devious here. Let me just pop my conspiracy hat on real quick. Okay, clearly I am not as good a tailor as I am a wonderful YouTuber, so there's my conspiracy hat. Perfect. Perfect. So basically, I think her game is to come across all nice and honest and trustworthy in the hopes that Mikey turns to her and is like,
You know what? You're so honest and kind. I think being with you would be really great for my Eevee. Why don't you go and train it?
it's not gonna work, Misty. It's not gonna work. Much like this conspiracy hat, it didn't work. But if you do want a hat that works, go to my merch store. Look at that. Ooh, Ace Trainer Liam Snapback. Go on, go and get it. If you're wondering exactly what Pikachu was saying to Eevee in this scene, I'll translate it for you.
You know what? Screw evolution. Evolution is for losers. You know what we should do? We should get really big and we should call it Gigantamax. I've not quite worked out all the kinks yet, but come back to me in 20 years and I'll have it all figured out.
Misty tells Mikey that a while ago Pikachu decided not to evolve. Yeah, somebody ought to warn Pikachu that Ash is currently holding a Thunderstone and contemplating whether or not to reverse that decision. To be honest, it's a pretty tough decision to make. A much easier decision is choosing to use code ACE for money off G Fuel. Oh my lord, I love me some G Fuel. Today I'm drinking Raging Gummy Fish. It tastes like Swedish fish, you know those sweets that are shaped like fish and they're like gummy bears but they're fish. You know the ones. Tastes just like that. Bung some ice in with it. Oh my days, what a great time. Code ACE will get you money off. Ooh. Oh, it's so good because it's so friggin' warm in here. G Fuel, code ACE. Love y'all that have used it so far. Cheers. When Ash and Brock say they don't want to use the stones to evolve their Pokemon, the Vaporeon brother says,
Let's move on to the main event so they can see evolution our way.
they already have. They watched Poliwhirl evolve. Wait, who invited Tracy? Good Christ, that buffet looks incredible. Even with the lobster that shouldn't be there because it's a lobster. I would definitely be Team Rocket in this instance. Forget talking to people, food is way more important. Give Team Rocket credit where credit is due. When Pidgeotto uses Gust and gets rid of Wheezing Smokescreen, it's revealed that they've stolen all of the food, all of the Pokemon, and all the evolution stones in seconds. Now that is impressive. Misty asks why couldn't they have taken Psyduck too? Just release the Pokemon already. It's clear you don't want it. Just get rid of it. Just stop fucking whinging about it. Bloody hell! Pidgeotto literally darts itself through Team Rocket's balloon through one side and out the other, instantly deflating it and bringing it down. Why doesn't it just do that every time they show up? Give Team Rocket even more credit for using their balloon as bait whilst escaping in their little red Jeep. Is it opposite day or something? Because Team Rocket actually look competent. Fair play to Horsey for the pro strats, inking the ground like a trail of breadcrumbs. Hansel and Gretel would be proud. Although, does this mean I now have to stop giving Team Rocket credit because out of the three of them, not even one of them thought to supervise the Pokemon that they'd stolen just in case they tried to give out any kinds of signals? Come on, guys, just be successful one time. Pidgeotto spots the trail of ink from way up in the sky. I guess you could say it has a keen eye. I'm not even ashamed, it was right there. James comments that they've been beaten so many times he'd forgotten what victory tastes like, and Jesse smacks him, saying never to call them losers again. Well, technically he didn't. Team Rocket are arguing over which stone to use to evolve Eevee, and James is arguing on the side of Vaporeon. I always knew you had the best taste, James. Well done. Team Rocket decide to use all three stones at once to try and make some kind of super Eeveelution. In fact, if you're any good at drawing, tweet me a picture of a drawing you've done of a Jolteon, Vaporeon, Flareon hybrid super Pokemon, because I really want to see it. Ash tells Squirtle to use Water Gun, and Psyduck gets in the way, trying to use its own, much weaker Water Gun. After Misty returns it to its Pokeball, she says,
Squirtle, it looks like it's up to you.
Alright, one, it was already up to Squirtle anyway, because Psyduck was fucking useless. Like, Squirtle's competence was never in question here. And two, why not send out one of your competent Pokemon, like Staryu? And on a similar note, Brock, mate, do you want to get involved? Do you want to try and help at all? No? Squirtle blasts away James and Meowth, and Ash is like, yeah, let's save the Pokemon, even though Jessie still stood right there. What, you don't think Jessie's a threat, Ash? Ash Ketchum is sexist. Pass it on. Misty busts out the big guns and calls Jessie an old hag when she tries to steal Eevee. Really, Misty? Name calling? You're a gym leader. You're above this. The Jolteon brother interrupts Ash's battle plan, saying it's their brother's Pokemon and therefore it's their job to save it. Or, here's an idea, just throwing it out there. Why don't all the trainers on the good side bring out a Pokemon and then you can all work together to defeat the bad guys? Crazy concept, I know. Direct quote from this dickhead.
Watch the power of an evolved Pokemon.
We already have. Arbok and Weezing are right there. These Eeveelution twats do my head in, you know. They're just constantly acting like they're the only people who have ever fully evolved a Pokemon. Ash has had a Butterfree, for God's sake. To be fair, in this instance, Jolteon's Pin Missile would be absolute torture for Arbok, since in Generation 1, Poison was weak to Bug. Poor Sneck. Flareon's Fire Spin casually almost sets the forest on fire. Is destroying the environment worth it for just one Eevee? To be fair, if one of my dogs was in danger, I would pour oil on a flock of seagulls to save them. The band, not the birds. God, I'm not a monster. Out of nowhere, Arbok and Weezing blindside and batter all three of the Eeveelutions.
How's that for the power of an evolved Pokemon?
Pikachu steps in to use Thunderbolt and decimate Team Rocket, which it was gonna do from the start if the Eeveelution guys hadn't have stepped in. Seriously, them joining the fight was pointless when you think about it. Speaking of pointless, Pikachu's Thunderbolt doesn't get rid of Team Rocket, who just stand their ground and refuse to be beaten. This is like when we used to play pretend as kids and we'd be pretending to be superheroes or something. As soon as you get beat, you're like,
Oh no, now I'm super strong. You can't beat me like this.
The kid who's never battled before decides he's going to use his Eevee against Team Rocket. And I'm all for the kid trying to take a swing at the people who stole his Pokemon, but why is nobody else helping? Why is this kid being allowed to take on two trainers at once? Pikachu's right there, it could help out. And don't get me started on Brock, he hasn't brought a single Pokemon out all afternoon. He's not even acknowledged that his Vulpix is safe. What a terrible trainer. Mikey's Eevee somehow batters all of Team Rocket with a single takedown. I guess the other attacks softened them up? Either that or this is the partner Eevee from Let's Go Eevee. 6 max IVs guaranteed on your starter. Why not just start the game with 8 gym badges as well? I'm just playing. I love the Let's Go games and I genuinely would like more. The Jolteon brother...
Liam, you do know Mikey's brothers actually have names, don't you? They're called Sparky, Rainer and Pyro because their names are based on the types of their Eeveelutions.
Oh, I know. I just don't care. They're boring characters whose only personality traits are I have this one Pokemon, so I couldn't give a toss what their names are. Anyway, the Jolteon brother congratulates Mikey for winning his first battle by himself. So are we just ignoring Squirtle's Water Gun, Jolteon's Pin Missile, Vaporeon's Tackle, and Pikachu's Thunderbolt? Oh, okay then, sure. Mikey won by himself. Mikey thanks Misty for helping with his problems by giving her a flower. Shippers, deviant artists, put your pens down. I know what you lot are thinking. creeps. Ash tells Misty she could pass for his brother. Ah, the good old days when the way to a girl's heart was to tell her she looked like a man. Nowadays, if you did that, you'd get cancelled on Twitter in a heartbeat. Brock makes a random reference to the Kung Fu TV series from the 1970s, and I don't quite know what to make of that. Is it appropriate? Is it not? Who knows? As Psyduck botches taking the group photo, which begs the question, why even have Psyduck out of all the Pokemon being the one to take the group photo? That just seems stupid. We can tell that the animators are getting a little bit tired at this point. Like, look, why is this man like 9 feet tall? This Poliwrath is an example of must try harder. And what the hell is this abomination? In fact, let's all look at this for a moment and just feel uncomfortable together. So those are my WTF moments of Pokemon Season 1, Episode 40, the Battling Eevee Brothers. Let me know your favourites and any I missed down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Head over to Twitch, become a subscriber over there to support the channel, and use code ACE to save yourself money on G Fuel. But until next time, I'm Ace Trainer Liam. Keep on training.